guys, Dorothy here today, and we're here today to work on day 5 of our Christmas ephemera digital giveaway with the tutorials. So this is what we're going to be making today. I know it's going up later than it normally does. I apologize for that. It's been one of those days. So here we go. So I'm making one of our ephemera pieces, and then it's got room for journaling on the back. So you see the little snow globe effect in the middle. We're going to be doing that today. This is an eco-dyed envelope that I've done, and there's tons of tutorials on eco-dyeing, and you know, you could use a coffee dyed or tea stain envelope as well. This just happened to be one that I had in my stash. And we're going to be doing the little faux postage stamp. And then with this one, it's tea dyed and coffee dyed on the back, so you can journal there. And then it actually uses watercolor paper. Then it's got washi on it. There's our 5, and again it's tea and coffee dyed, so once you use your washi, you can use it. You could actually, you know, paint or draw on here or use it to journal on. So that's what we're going to do. So without further delay, let's get started. So first off, I've got my eco-dyed envelope that I have. And like I said, you know, you can use any kind of envelope. You know, we're going to be doing a couple other envelopes too, so you'll have... So I'm just gluing mine down. And I'm just going to ink up around the very outside edges. Normally I would do every, but I sort of want to not take a lot of focus off of the postage stamp, so I'm just inking up on the outside. Let me make sure I'm in camera. Yep. Again, I apologize that I'm later today than normal. You know how life is. And I am going to do my little flaps. And it, you know, where I teed and eco-dyed this, it's sort of, you know, inked up darker already on the outside edges. So, you know, you don't have to go heavy-handed on the ink. Just running around the outside edge, just enough that it's there, but not overkill, because sometimes we can, to me, we can over ink and take away from the actual decoration of the project. Okay, so there is that. So for our faux postage stamp, first off you need just a piece of that, and again, let me show you the paper. This is our digital for today. So let me turn it so you can see it. So we're going to be using this digital. Absolutely love it. We're going to be using this small one here, if you can see it. And it says a Merry Christmas on it. The big one said a Christmas greeting. And then this one also says a Merry Christmas with a pretty poinsettias. So that's what we're going to be using. So for the faux postage stamp, we're going to be using the really small one. So first thing we need to do is we need to ink it up. And this is really simple. You could do this with any image. It's not a lot to it. So we inked it up. Now I'm going to glue it onto my tea and coffee stained paper. So I'm using art glitter glue. And you're just going to glue it on there and leave a little bit of an edge, maybe, oh, a little over 1/4 of an inch around the outside edges, because we are going to be doing that. Okay, then we're going to use pinking shears. These are actually Fisker's pinking shears. I think you find them at Walmart. You can find them anywhere that, Joann's, Michael's, anywhere that they sell sewing type stuff. And then we're just going to go about 1/4 of an inch out and just trim off the edges. And if you're looking for pinking shears, you will find them in the sewing area. And by doing that, we create our faux postage stamp edges. Let me move this out of the way. So, again, we're going to ink up the edges because, and I sort of do it right along the edge and then make sure that I get sort of down, you know, onto the edge of it. It just creates a more unified look. See, with just a little inking, you could use that as your stamp by itself. I'm actually going to use a stamp on my faux postage stamp. I have, it's like a compass, and then it's just little squiggly lines. Let me see if you can see those. Sort of like a canceled postage. So I'm gonna ink it up. And you could use any kind of like script or text stamp, anything with a date, numbers, or anything like that. Let me grab a little scrap piece of paper here. And then I'm just going to lay this over top, just like it had been canceled out. And actually, we're going to glue this onto our envelope. You could tuck it and just use it for a small journaling spot if you wanted to use it. I mean, you could use it for all kinds of things. I always like to sort of tilt mine crooked. I'm actually going to ink this up because a lot of times, everybody knows when we get mail, it'll be canceled out several times where the machine didn't catch it, or so I'm going to sort of line this up just a little bit. I'm just off-centered a little bit because I wanted to sort of stamp on the envelope. So it sort of gets that doubled effect that it didn't. It says our canceled envelope. So that's it. So let's move on to the next step. Okay, we're going to work with our poinsettias. Ink up the edges. Quite a bit of inking on this one, so I apologize ahead of time for those of you guys that don't like it, the inking. Okay, that's the outside edge of that. I have my watercolor paper pre-cut. You do not have to use watercolor paper. You could use cardstock, you could use chipboard, you could use, you know, anything you want to. And I actually have mine, it is cut at 4 3/4 by a little bit less than 3 inches. And I'm going to ink up around the outside edges on just on one side. And I actually use the, you know, the bumpy side you would paint on, you know, where you have your texture. And then I'm going to take my ink and just, I'm not pressing, I'm just sliding the sponge across just to sort of, because I mean, you can see how bright white that is. Let me get in the light. You see how bright white that is? So just inking it up a little bit sort of gives it a vintage look. Okay, so we have that. You need an excess or a extra piece of your tea stained paper, and we're going to back our poinsettias onto the coffee stained paper. And I just sort of laid mine up to the edge. I'm not leaving an outside border, so, you know, putting it right up to the edge is going to save you some extra paper. And same thing with the watercolor paper. And I'm just going to leave just enough space between there where I can get in there to cut it apart. Okay, so I'm just going to take my scissors and just going to cut right up along the edge. Now, at this point, one of two things. You could fold it in half. Well, wait till the glue dries. You could fold this in half and create, you know, a little booklet. I don't want to do that. I want to actually cut mine in half. So I'm just going to go right between where I glued my image and my watercolor paper, where I left just that teeny tiny little space. And there, and then I'm going to go along my watercolor paper edge and just cut off any excess that's left over. Okay. And you can sort of check, you may have spaces where you need to drop a little glue. Okay. So, back side of my watercolor paper, I'm just going to ink around the outside. And then on the inside, my poinsettia, just because I want it to have that look, you know, where it looks like it's finished all the way around. Okay, we have that. And then I line mine up together, and just, if you may have to, I line it up, and then I use my Big Bite. You can use any kind of hole punch, and you're going to punch 2 holes across the top to create the holes where we put our ribbon. Sorry about that, I had to pause to grab something really fast. So you're going to want to make sure that you know, put the wider side to the inside. And I'm going to line it up, and then I just turn over my image, sort of guesstimate, and just poke 2 holes. Sort of make sure they're, you know, the same distance apart. Sort of like that. Let me put my lid back on my glue. I can't never remember to do that. Okay, and then I have baker's twine. This is actually a red and a tan. And I'm just gonna cut a small piece out. My piece that I cut was, I'll measure it, about 8 3/4 inches. So I'll probably have extra that I won't need. Then I'm just gonna lace it through the 2 holes from the back. Pull it up and center it. Then I'm just going to do a square knot. I go behind through the front. Then on this one, go across the front from behind. And that's actually not that bad. I'm going to trim off just a little bit because I don't like massive amounts of it sticking out. I find it gets in the way. So I'll trim it up a little bit. We have that, and then I've got just a multitude of different washi tapes. So I'm gonna hold it up, put my washi tape on there. You can put your washi tape on before you tie it, if you find that easier. It doesn't really get in my way to bother me. I'll try to hold it out of the way so you can see. I'm just gonna put a little bit in there, and I'm using 5 different ones, so it doesn't have to be a massive amount. I love this green. And I'm just going to layer them, you know, flip it around. And then I'll have, you know, all my Christmas washi, a little bit of it, in my journal with me. And then this one says, keep on giving. Oh, keep on growing is what it says. But I really liked the gold tone, and, you know, that to me, that's what journaling is about, is growing, you know, from one mental place to another. I'm going to cut this off when it gets close to the wording. There's that. I got my candy canes, and I'm just going to fill it up till I get to the bottom of my thing, and if I need to go back and put something on there, I can. Towards the top, I just wanted, I always try, if I have pictures, I try to tear between them, so I have them. That's almost like a vellum candy cane one. And this one's so cute because it's like multicolored. It's got pinks and greens and reds and sort of like the different colors. And you can do this with, you know, any kind of, that's one thing, you know, no matter what kind of journal you're doing, whether you're doing roses or, you know, whatever color you want. You know, you could do it with all pinks or blacks or reds or whatever. Oh, here's another candy cane one. So we'll put this one at the top since we're out of space at the bottom. And I always put mine on the back sort of starting because I think it just, I don't know. I sort of like it on the back, I guess. So, rip that off. Oops. Make sure you rub them down good. Get that out of the way. And then, remember we're doing our numbers. And I am using the Stampin' Up! 25 days. You can use any kind of numbers you want. This just happened to be one I had, so this is what I'm using. I'm going to ink up my number 5 because we're on day number 5. Hard to believe. Seems like we just started. And I'm going to put my number 5 up here in the top corner. Right up against the edge, and there's our number 5. So we have our washi booklet. We have our faux stamp. So the washi booklet, you know, we'll put in. I don't want to put it in the envelope. I want to put the other one in here. So set this to the side. Okay, so we are going to make this. This is going to be fun, right? So let me see. I have a couple little things that I need. I need my cutters. And you'll need a cutting mat, a ruler. Let me grab one of my mechanical pencils. Oops. So we are going to go around this in here. You see the inside box, just where this picture is. Yeah, you have your white border. So we're going to measure from the green line a ½ inch all the way around. And we can erase this later. So hopefully, I'm hoping you'll be able to see this. So I actually use a quilter's ruler because I just think it's a little easier to do. So I'm just going to line it up and I'm going to put my ½ inch right on that green line. And then I'm just going to go from the outside border across. And you may have to go across the bottom one a little bit because it's darker so you can see. And then I'm going to come up here. And I'm going to find my ½ inch. Hopefully I can do this without being in the way so you can see. And then I'm going to draw that across. And we can erase this when we're done, so it's not a big deal. So you don't want to use pen or felt pen, you know, pencil or Sharpies. You want to use a pencil. You're just going to connect between that line. And you come over here with the ½ inch. Okay, so we've got our outline. So you can see we have our line, 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 and line. So we're going to get our cutting tools now. This is a Gordon cutting tool. I think I got this. It was $14 and maybe like 88 cents. I think I got it at Harbor Freight Tools. So I'm going to use, you know, just a little cutting blade. You can use any kind of craft blade. This just happens to be the one I got, and it comes with a multitude. It's tweezers and cutters and all kinds of stuff. So now I'm going to line my roller back up. Now you could have, and I mean, maybe people are a little bit like braver than I am. I could have lined this up and just cut it, but I wanted to make sure. So I'm going to start at the very point of where the corner, and I'm just going to cut alongside my ruler all the way to the other corner. I want to make sure that I pay attention where I'm at. and I stop when I get to that corner. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to line up again on my 1/2 inch, which this gives you a chance to like double check if you need to, if maybe you mark something wrong. The one awesome thing about digital printables is if you mess up, guess what? Just start over if you need to, or find a way to fix it. Worst case scenario, you get a frame out of it. You see I just slid there a little bit. And I'm going to go all the way over to the corner. I'm going to pull up my last corner. And it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. I mean, Lord knows I am far from perfect. And you go from this corner to this corner. And in your corners it may stick a little bit. If it does, you can, it just sort of pops out. Okay. So you can set your ruler to the side. Let me put my cutter back up. I don't like leaving it out because I sort of don't want to lose a finger. And it, like I said, it comes in a nice little kit for 14 bucks. It's extremely useful. Okay, so we're going to ink up the outside edges and inside our frame. I absolutely love this and this whole concept that I'm using. And I'm like actually seriously thinking about, I'm getting ready to start my Christmas cards. And I'm hand making my Christmas cards. And I'm going to actually use it on my Christmas cards. I'm doing snow globes. I actually get a magazine. It's based out of the UK. And I absolutely love it. It comes with dies and stamps once a month. It's pricey a little bit. It's like, I think $14.99 or $15.99. But you get, you know, a lot of times you'll get dies and stamps that match, which I'll pay that for, you know, stamps around here or dies that I buy. So I actually buy it. And it, you know, there's like 100 different examples of ways that they use them. And it's just really cool. It has 3D projects and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and ink around my little inside too. You can... We'll go through in a minute and erase the lines. I don't worry about the lines on the inside. And I'm sort of roughly, as I'm inking, I don't know if you can see where I'm going sort of in on the inside of that, sort of creating a background to it. So I'm going to go through and erase these little lines, and you really don't notice them unless you're paying attention. Okay, so let's get the cutting mat out of the way. We don't need that. Put it over here to the side. Okay, so I have this. We're going to flip it upside down. I'm using sequin score tape because that's what I happen to have. Any kind of double-sided tape. If you don't have double-sided tape, I haven't tried it with glue. If I was going to use glue, I would definitely use my Fabri-Tac because I know Fabri-Tac is going to adhere plastic. Tacky glue and stuff like that, a lot of times, yes, I know it will, but it's going to take you a long drying time because you're actually, you know, going to put this on plastic, which is, you know, you guys, I love this method. If you've seen it before, you know, then you're going to be like, oh, I like that too. Okay, so I'm going to pull the backing off. Make sure I'm still in frame over here. And I tend to keep working down towards myself. And this is sequin score tape. You can buy it from Score Pal. You know, different places. If you're looking for a different, you know, type of double back adhesive, I know scrapbook.com carries scrapbook.com brand. I've always used score tape, sequin score tape. That's just what I started out with, and I've not really tried to do anything else, so that's just me. Okay, so you're going to need packaging tape, and this happens to be what I had. I'm going to make it a little bit longer than what I need, and I buy it when it's on the cutter because I just think that works. And then you're going to lay it, and I make it a little bit bigger because you do have your thumbprints on the side. You're going to lay it right... You're going to lay it right over top where you put that double-sided tape. And I just sort of go through and randomly push along the edges. I don't want to use my fingers because I don't want to, you know, stick it down. Then I'm going to, I got tape on my end of my scissors. I'm going to come out and I'm just going to cut this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect or straight. Just right along the edge, cut it a little short so you have paper around the outside edges. Okay, so hold this up. Right now you can see we've got the clear tape in our hole. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Maybe when I can get it where, there you go. There you can see where it's in there. Normally I would use like acetate, you know, and you can use acetate. We want shipping tape because we have our, like, if we lay it down, the sticky side should be facing up. So this side over here is the non-sticky side. Sticky side facing up. So now I'm going to grab a plate. I'm going to put this in the middle. And I've got this Sulin Extra Fine Glitter Crystal Diamond. This is like $2.86, I think, at Walmart for this big container. I happen to like these containers. You get all the glitter, but it has a hole in the bottom, so you can stack them upright, so you're not taking up landscape. I could use the end, but I'm just going to pop the top off. And then I'm just going to sprinkle some glitter on there. And then I'm just going to move it around and try to cover all of that tape. And you'll be able to see the glitter will stick. Then I'm just going to put it over my plate and I'm going to tap. That's knocking off all the excess. And you'll see, let me hold it up, see if you, well, let me try to get it where you can see where it almost creates that iridescent look. So if you'll see, you can see through it, but it's almost foggy looking now. Okay, so then I just pull this back up, sort of bend my plate. You can use a piece of paper for this too. I just happen to pick a styrofoam plate, which is probably the worst thing to use because it doesn't like to bend. Okay, and I put that straight in the trash after I've shaken it off because I don't want glitter everywhere. I'm not a big, huge, massive fan of a room full of glitter. Okay. And as you can see, this, you know, you'll get glitter on your hands if you touch it, but once we glue it down, it won't be a problem. So we're going to set that to the side. We're going to pull back the other half of the extra sheet of coffee and tea dyed paper we had. You're going to grab this. Now, you have to remember when we cut this out, we were about a ½ an inch away from the edge. So you want to make your edging a little bit longer. I would go about 3/4 of an inch or an inch in. I mean, I'm one of those people that would much rather have excess than not enough. And it doesn't even have to be straight because we're going to fix it up later. So we're going to do that. Okay. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to put my art glitter glue around my edges. And again, you can use tacky glue. You can use Fabri-Tac. I'm using art glitter glue because that's what I have, and I really love art glitter glue. So go around the edges. Okay, now here's gonna be the tricky part. You know, make sure you line it up. Make sure you know the Christmas greetings is at the bottom. I'm going to hold it over. Oh, and see, I made a mistake. See if I can pull this up. I was paying attention to my ½ inch on my sides and forgot I have an 1.5 inches on the side, so there you go. Mistake 1 fixed. I'm going to put this to the side real fast because I want to make sure that, okay, yeah, it didn't even tear through the paper. So I should have started up here where I was going to go originally, huh? Guess you learn, don't you? Okay. And I don't want to throw this away. I'm just going to sort of tear off these loose ends that are sticking out. Let me make sure my art glitter glue probably has dried by now because it is a fast drying glue. So let me... And see, everybody makes mistakes. I could edit that out, but this is step by step, guys. This is from build to finish, and you know, I make mistakes. I'm not going to edit out my mistakes because maybe you'll not do it to yours if you're not watching me do it. Okay, so we're all glued up again. I'm going to line it up with your season's greetings at the bottom. See, I caught myself there too. I'm going to line it up over top of my picture. I'm going to reach in where the packing tape is and I'm going to spread out from there. I want to make sure that it's flat. And I'm going to glue it down. Making sure I adhere really good. Then I'm just going to simply take my scissors and I'm going to leave about a 1/16 of an inch around the outside edges, give or take. And it does not have to be perfect. I am just, as you can tell, I am literally just cutting around the edges. Easy money. There we go. Let me put my lid back on my glue so I don't have to keep undoing it. My ink up around my edges on the front. And this is one of those too, you may want to lay like flat in a book for a little bit. A lot of my ephemera I end up doing that too because I want it to be flatter than what it is. So you can tell where it, I don't know if you can see in there where you can tell where it's sort of buckled. That's where I pulled that in when I glued it. I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm just going to slide my ink right across there. Sort of fill it in with ink a little bit. There we go. Then I'm going to just throw this in here. And I'm going to estimate and poke a hole. I'm going to put my hole reinforcers on it. Front and back. Then I have this ribbon. I'm just going to cut a piece off. Sort of cut it on the diagonal. Well, I'll look at that one a little bit because I'm sure I'll have to trim it up. Bring it through the back. Bring it through the back. I'm going to make sure that it's laying flat. Like that. Bring it through. I'm going to tie it just like if I was tying my shoes. Remember when you were a kid you did the loop through the bunny ears type thing? Same concept. I'm going to pull it down to where I get my bow part to where I want it to be. Because I don't want it too big. Okay, I'm going to take this, cut it on the diagonal. Cut it on the diagonal. Voila! Let me get this out of the way here. Move all my tools over. So we have our washi book. We have our envelope with our faux stamp. And our glittered scenery. So let's come in here, see where we can put it now. I actually think I'm going to put my envelope. I'm going to slide it right up under there. And I think I'm going to put my washi book in here for right now. I may pull it out later, but I sort of like that whole raised feel that it gives it tucked in there. So there you go, guys. Day 5. We are down. Washi book. Cute little glittering journal spot. And our faux stamp envelope. So I hope you guys have a good day. You know, sorry about getting this up late. It was my birthday. My husband took me out, so I was running late. I'm so sorry. We will see you tomorrow for day 6. Have a great day. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Check out our Facebook group. Check out our Etsy shop. You guys know the run through. Hit the bell if you want reminded of our 25 days of Christmas. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.